Greetings, Hillsborough County. My name is CJ Roberts, and I'm the President and CEO of the Tampa Bay History Center and the Chair of the Hillsborough Arts Council. This year, Hillsborough County is participating in a nationwide art and economic prosperity study to gather information about local nonprofit arts and cultural organizations. Now, if you're as passionate about the arts as I am, then you already know that a vibrant arts community helps local businesses thrive, invests in our county's economic well-being, and enhances overall quality of life. In order to show the impact the arts have on our community, we need your help. So if you're out and about at an arts event or a museum, you might be selected to take a quick, completely anonymous survey as part of this important study. Please consider participating in this survey, as it will help support the Hillsborough County arts community. The comprehensive data needed for this study is not possible without your help. So please take the survey and let's make art count.
If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll start with introductions. We'll start with Rob.
Rob Parkinson, Hillsborough County Criminal Justice Office and Vice Chair.
Chrissy Dorian, Hillsborough County Public Schools.
Kelly Hammersley, the Department of Juvenile Justice, Circuit 13, Hillsborough County.
Carrie Bittridge, Director of the Hillsborough Juvenile Assessment Center.
Mary Williams, Senior Case Manager at Base JDAP.
Kim Williams with Children's Network of Hillsborough County.
Heather Casola, Prevention and Diversion Program Manager with Children's Services, Hillsborough County.
Sarah Grimmig, Hillsborough County Children's Services.
Beth Pasick, Department of Children and Families.
Davia Larabor, Pay Center for Girls and Secretary of this board.
And Major Grice.
Major Grice, Superintendent, Hillsborough Detention Center.
Mr. Coy.
Good morning, Travis Coy with the Office of the State Attorney.
Thank you, everyone. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the July 22 minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve, Beth Pasick.
Okay.
And I'll second those, Rob Parkinson.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They'll be approved. We'll move on to our chairperson's report. So in August, there was a cab chair meeting with the secretary and other cab chairs. That was in person in Orlando. And we got to meet with the secretary and figure out some of his priorities. And then we also had another cab chair meeting earlier this week on Monday. So for now, what we've learned is the secretary is focusing on using data to drive our work. Instead of having a JDAI person assigned to each cab, there's going to be a systems improvement coach. And that coach will assist with accessing and analyzing data to support the utilization of data to drive our efforts. And there's more to come. There's going to be, in October, a board chair meeting back in Orlando, along with a training opportunity that I sent out to everyone with the agenda. And so we'll learn more at that time. We also did learn more about the board composition and how the secretary wanted us to proceed with that. And he is strictly construing the statutes that deal with the cab chair, the cab board, which is section 985-664. In that statute, there are certain positions that are basically mandatory positions, like the public defender, the state attorney, the sheriff, police chief. And then there are other positions that are filled by community members, business members, community leaders, that type of thing. The positions like public defender, state attorney, sheriff, those are not termed, so they can continue to go in perpetuity. However, the other positions, there's a maximum of 6 years of service on the board, and then you have to sit out 2 years. The positions on the board are appointed by the cab chair, and at our last executive meeting, we did start working on that, and we're going to continue working on that so we can get a full board. So if you haven't already talked to me and you would like to be on the board, please let me know. Many of you already are. By the time of our next executive meeting, we'll finalize the list of people who are going to be on the board. One issue out there was our circuit is unique. We're a single county circuit, and we have multiple police chiefs within our circuit. And then we have a sheriff, one sheriff. So the sheriff is one of those designated members or his designee. And one of the questions we had is, could we have multiple police chief members on our board as the actual official police chief member? Department of Juvenile Justice Legal Department was present at our meeting on Monday, and they advised that it could only be one police chief member. And in this case, it's Lieutenant Kamat is the designee of the Tampa Police Department. Did I say that right, Lieutenant? Kamat, okay. But we could still have other police chiefs serve as on the board, just not as the official police chief member. And I think that's important because we've observed in the past some very healthy conversation on issues such as training for civil citations, where I thought that the police chief members that were present were having a very healthy discussion about how to utilize the civil citations and training, because there was questions about that. And so I'd like to continue that, but at this point, the official police chief member is going to be Lieutenant Kamat, and we'll reach out to the other agencies and keep them on the board in one way or another if they're willing to continue to participate, which I believe they have because they have a history of participating with us and serving with us. The other thing that we are doing is we initiated a bylaw committee because in construing the statutes, some of our bylaws are not exactly consistent with the statute. And there's also a question of the purpose of our executive board, which meets every other month. So it's always on the third Friday. So this month, we have our full juvenile justice board. Next third Friday is our executive board. Over the years, they've kind of morphed into one meeting, sort of. And so we're going to sit down and tighten up our bylaws and figure out what we want the purpose of that executive board to meet. Someone reached out to me, and one of the members of the board reached out to me and had a question about that and raised a good issue. So if you desire to serve on the bylaw committee, we already have some members, but if you will let me know, we'll add you on, and we're going to get a meeting set soon, and we can discuss it from there. Anyone have any questions about my board chair report? Okay, thank you. Committee reports. Anyone here from the data committee? The give me one moment. Okay, bylaws committee. I am chairing that particular committee, and we will meet and give you an update soon. The Julianne Holt Service Excellent Award Committee, Mr. Parkinson.
Thank you. Yes, as a reminder, the deadline for the applications for the Julie Holt Service Excellence Award is Friday, October 7th. I ask that you not wait until the last day because it is a lot of administrative work that goes along with that. So please send us your applications. They've already started to roll in. I passed around a hard copy of the application. Chairperson Brancato also sent out the electronic version last month, I believe it was. So you have it. If you need it, give me an email and we'll send it out again. But please, this is for folks who really have gone above and beyond the juvenile justice system to provide services to youth and really stand out from their peers. You know, we've had some really good applicants over the last few years, and we've had some really awesome winners. So please think about your staff, think about community partners that you work with who might be willing recipients, and please send in applications for them as soon as you can. Appreciate it. Also, as a reminder, the folks that are on that committee are Ms. Holt, myself, Ms. Dorian, Rhonda Rhodes from Children's Services, and Pat McGee from Department of Juvenile Justice.
Thank you, Mr. Parkinson. We'll go to member updates, Department of Juvenile Justice.
Good morning again. Well, first I'm going to go ahead and go with some of our statistics, numbers of our youth that we're currently serving in Circuit 13 probation. We have a total of 332 youth that are currently supervised on probation, post-commitment, conditional release, and or day treatment supervision within Hillsborough County. We currently have 31 youth that are in residential commitment from our circuit. Likewise, on supervised release, which is in lieu of secure detention, we have 32 youth. And for youth that are on DJJ electric monitoring, we have 23 youth as of today. And I know Major Grice may discuss his numbers, but as of yesterday, we had 70 youth in secure detention. And as of today, I know that 10 of those youth have been moved to other detention facilities within the local region, Central Florida, from what I understand. And lastly, the department has initiated what is considered to be Department of Juvenile Justice Holt Navigators. And in each circuit in the state, there is a primary DJJ representative and a backup representative. And what they will be doing is they will be working in conjunction with DCF as far as responding to those calls that come in from families, parents, caregivers. There will be a DJJ hotline, more or less, regarding that, and they will navigate that information and forward it down to each circuit where that family may live, to where they can. These navigators are being trained as we speak on how to refer to services in the community, not just ones that Department of Juvenile Justice refers to for youth on supervision, but all the other, avenues and venues that are in our community. So in our circuit, Sandra Pinkney, she's our operation consultant. She is our primary navigator, and her backup is Stephen Garvey. He's a supervisor that is supervises a unit of youth that are on foster care status, dependency status, and also youth that may have sex offense charges. And that is what I have for this moment for the presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Hammersley. We'll move on to detention. Major Grice?
Good morning. So currently we do have 60 youth in which, as Ms. Hammersley mentioned, 10 of them were transferred to Pasco County, Pinellas County, and Brevard County to assist with our numbers. One of our mods are being renovated, so that takes away 20 beds. So we had to spread some kids out. Lucky enough, we got them out in time for another 6 to come back in. But we're managing. We have 47 males and 13 females. We have 2 kids that are committed or waiting placement. We have 1 out-of-county courtesy hold in our facility. We've gone from 39 vacancies to 24 out of 80 positions, so we're getting some people to come in. Of course, they're still in training phase, so they're have to shadow at the moment, so they aren't able to actually, do the required job just yet. But on the positive side, we do have new portables in motion for our education department to be installed so that we can have a better learning environment for our kids. And As I mentioned, one of my living quarters is under renovation. They're renovating the community bathrooms, giving them a more modern look, more efficient on energy and plumbing. And other than that, I have a volunteer who comes to mentor the kids once a month. He's a USF football standout, Antonio Greer, and he's also been nominated by his coaches for the Warfel Award, which is college football's premier community service award. So I'm in the process now of trying to schedule a backstory. I think the department may be interested in doing a story on him and his services to our facility. Other than that, it's just day by day, and we appreciate all the support.
Anyone have any questions for Major Grice?
Major Grice, might he also be a good nomination for the Julie Holt Service Excellence Award?
After reading this, yes, sir. But I did have a question with respects to that. It does say it has to be a member of the department.
No, it doesn't have to be.
No?
It could be a volunteer, too.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you. Since Ms. Grimmick?
Good morning, everyone. I'll start with giving you some information about how we completed last month. So we had 240 bed days and 101 youth served in our community counseling program. Currently on site, we have 16 youth. As I will explain when I give you these numbers, we have seen an increase in our domestic violence youth in the last 30 days. We currently have 1 court-ordered youth, 6 SENS youth, 5 domestic violence, and 2 domestic violence civil citation. We have 1 emergency shelter placement youth and 1 on probation respite. So we continue our efforts to have conversations. Law enforcement's been tremendous about learning about civil citations, and I'm appreciative of the phone calls when they just don't know. So we continue to navigate ensuring that kids are getting those to the right programs. We're trying to get everyone to school that we can. As you know, we are short-staffed. The county is very large, and today is the second Truancy Court of the season, so we anticipate some increase in volume in the days to come. And in talking about Truancy Court, the secretary has put a lot of energy and effort in learning more about Truancy Court across the state. Last week we met with all of our executives for Florida Network agencies, and we are going to be looking very intentionally at how truancy is handled across the state. We are unique. Not every county has a court for truancy. So counties like ourselves are going to be helping support other counties on how we navigate truancy and how we can help get in front of it before it's 100 days plus, because we do know that that is a systemic issue for some of our counties. We're not as deep in the woods as some others. We kind of get on it a little faster here, but that is something that we're going to be focused on in the next year, is how we can help these truant kids get caught a little sooner. Outside of that, business as usual, still hiring. If you know anybody interested in working direct care with youth, we have plenty of vacancies, so send them our way. Any questions?
Yes. Any barriers you're seeing or any issues from law enforcement that we need to correct for, or that we can pass along that'll help out with the process of the DV at your facility?
I wouldn't say barriers. I think that it's all about education. So the most recent phone call I've had this week was a youth that had a previous charge and they were attempting to bring in as a civil citation. It's just an opportunity for education. And they're making that call before they kind of show up a place, which I think makes it easier. We're not really closely located to the JAC. So I think that's the biggest kind of just, let's make the call, make sure the kid gets to the right program, because otherwise there's what we're trying to prevent historically is the state's attorney calling us going, how did this kid get in this program? But I do think we've hit a place where people aren't afraid to pick up the phone and make sure they know where to go. So I'm not seeing a barrier outside of that at this point.
Okay, thank you. Is it still Lieutenant Royka? Captain Royka, thank you for the question. Any other questions for Ms. Grimmick? Okay, we'll move on to civil citations.
I got here just in time. My apologies. Thank you for calling me Rocky, Mr. Brancato. I am happy to report that school is back in session. So civil citations are on the rise potentially, but that just means more youth are diverted from the juvenile justice system. For the month of August, we had 41 youth who were informed and referred to the Juvenile Diversion Program for the 13th Judicial Circuit. We have the largest proportion of offenses as to the material you are provided were in the area of battery, battery DV, and petty theft. The victim of prominence was an individual. We had 18 females, 23 males, and obviously their referrals came from a myriad of agencies with both TPD and HCSO being the predominant referral entity. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Questions for Ms. Justice? Thank you, Ms. Justice. Is there anyone here from prevention? Okay. We'll move on to old business. I didn't have any on the agenda. Does anyone have any?
Rocky, I just wanted to give an update. At the last meeting, I talked about the increased juvenile justice detention costs for Hillsborough County. At the meeting, I mentioned that for last fiscal year, we had an increase in bed utilization and secure detention of 2,654 more bed days. At that time, I couldn't opine in terms of was this due to increased length of stay, was this due to increased kids being brought into the system, et cetera. I also mentioned the increased cost went up by about $1.1 million. So we're up to about $4.3 million per year in secure detention. Subsequent to that, I was able to work with Chief Hammersley and get some preliminary data from Department of Juvenile Justice. As I mentioned last meeting, they hadn't updated the online delinquency profile system yet, but Chief Hammersley was able to work some magic and get some preliminary data. So I can tell you the amount of arrests for last state fiscal year, was 2,742. So that was up from the year before, but the year before was a COVID year, and we had significant reductions in intakes across the board, not just in the juvenile system, also the adult system. If you look at, the reduction from 1920, those numbers still aren't bad. They still aren't bad. So that tells us that there's been an increase in costs, which we know. There's been increased costs for DJJ staff, which is appropriate. There's been, raises needed for some time there, increased costs in wraparound social services. But there also appears to be some increases in length of stay in detention. And there's some legislation wrapped around that, and some of that was just implemented this year, but I can certainly see projecting out that there'll be significant increases in lengths of stay over the next fiscal year. So it's probably something we need to keep an eye on and look at how we're utilizing diversion options and reentry options, but also keep an eye on it and what kinds of kids are staying longer. We know what the legislation says, but what kids are actually being held in detention longer than they should be? And do we need to develop new programs to wrap around those kids with additional levels of supervision or community wraparound services?
Okay, any questions for Mr. Parkinson?
Yeah, I have a question on that. The new legislation that does allow, with very specific guidelines, children to be detained over 21 days, has that been utilized at all yet, or how frequently have we utilized that?
So my understanding is, the legislation just was enacted a few months back, July 1. So they just starting to see those cases being brought to the tune of how many, are being ordered to secure detention. I don't have that data yet. We only have a couple months of implementation. I know that there's been more brought to the courts that have been approved. And I know that, we're not just talking about secure detention, we're also talking about mandated levels of supervision in the community, EM monitoring, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Chief Hammersley, do you have anything to add on that?
Yes, I do. As recently as this week, it was brought to my attention of the first child so far that fell under that statute criteria that his detention time was extended an additional 21 days. So, and that just occurred this week as far as secure. And as Rob Parkinson was mentioning, supervised release, traditionally, they haven't really been extended. It's when they stop for a violation. and then they, are presented to the judge at a detention hearing. They may be extended for a day or two, but nothing of, great magnitude at this point. But yeah, as I said, so far I'm only aware of one that I actually have seen the order where it was a motion that was presented by the state attorney's office.
And there were several motions and several hearings that we litigated. We've come up with our own constitutional motions from the public defender's office. I know one of the hearings, the child got extended to home detention as opposed to secure. But so far, it's been relatively low.
Minimal.
But we're starting to see the motions being filed. Mr. Coy, do you care to comment on that? Okay, thank you. Anything else on this topic? All right, any new business? Okay, we'll move on to our presentation. Today we have Titiana Lamb. She's from Tampa Academy of Hope. She also has some other people with her today, and she'll be presented on Tampa Bay Academy of Hope.
They don't let me touch technology in my office either, so I'm okay. Okay, so I am Titiana Lamb. I'm the Executive Director at Tampa Bay Academy of Hope. We wanted to share our programming. We are doing some unique things, I think, with our young people. The Academy, let me see if I can work this. Oh, good job. Okay, so the Academy has been around since 1996. We work with youth, we also work with adults, and we work with families as well. Our young people population consists of youth who are, I like to call them youth of opportunities, that need support and guidance. The Academy started in 1996. It was actually formulated so that we would work with young people to continue them on their education track and move them on to typically college. We have changed a bit since then, and so we are continuously refining based on our community needs, based on the resources that we're able to receive, and also the challenges and roadblocks that that get in the way of our clients becoming successful. Already told you we've been around since '96, so you don't need that part. These are some of our partners, some of the collaborations that we have. We're big on partnering in the community because we really want to be able to work with our young people and adults for success. And part of that success is our workforce development program, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you all today. So the problem that we have seen amongst young people, specifically those young people who are in that 16 to 24 age group, the youth and young adults, is that although there are a lot of opportunities for folks who are going to graduate from college, we know that everyone is not going to go to college. And so for those youth who do not go to college, they have fewer chances, of course, of getting well-paying jobs. Many of those students give up, they drop out of school, they really become disconnected from our community. We have our young people that we are working with are typically going to be dropout students, are typically going to be students who are not doing as well in school, and so they are getting out into the community. They may be committing crimes, they may be getting into other types of issues and problems, but the societal cost of the disconnected youth include, of course, higher rates of crime, substance abuse, intergenerational poverty, diminished tax revenues, and loss to employers. When we talk to a great deal of employers, they are all looking for that population of young people. They are all looking for economic growth, development around that group of young people that we seem to be losing day after day. One of the things that we specialize in is talking with employers and getting them to understand that they are missing out on a certain population, and that population is those involved in the criminal justice system. When you talk about adults in the criminal justice system, there are over 2 million adults there. With our young people, there are over 500,000 in the criminal justice system, and oftentimes, because they are disconnected from our communities, employers don't consider that population as a way for them to fill their workforce. And so we specialize in getting employers to understand that these are viable people who can fill those jobs and the needs that they are having. So when we work with our young people and our adults who have been involved in the criminal justice system, what we take is a very inclusive approach. We engage all youth. We look at their backgrounds, where they're coming from. We look at even their racial makeup. And so we specialize in trying to make sure that we're addressing the needs of that particular population. Employability skills such as teamwork, customer service, and problem solving are critical to all of their success. So we address all of those issues when we're talking with our young people. Entrepreneurship, such a big thing now, but it also drives the economic power of a community. So even those things are things that we address with young people. STEM education, we have several areas of training that we provide to young people, including manufacturing, construction. They're going to help me in a minute. IT are some of the things, but across the board, we think that STEM education in any of those areas is important for our young people because they need to know those are the driving forces behind the workforce today, and so they all need to have some amount of STEM education. We do scalable solutions with our employers. We engage on our business level, governmental level, and non-governmental organizations. We form our career collaborative is formed around that so that we can offer our young people solutions. The goal, of course, for us is to reduce recidivism among our young people and also our adults. Let me talk too long. So with our programming, we customize our program. For instance, we work with a group with Department of Juvenile Justice under TrueCore. Our program is customized to their needs and what they need for their young people. The Department of Corrections is also a partner with Tampa Bay Academy of Hope. We go into several prisons. And it is all customized to what they need. But the best part of our program is our employers who engage with us. They provide us with what they want the training to look like. Because it's very important when we are making those matches and those employment placements is that we're giving the employer what they need. So we bring them in, they come and talk to us, they come and let us know, hey, this isn't working for us, this might be better. We want that feedback, we want that continuous feedback loop because that is the only way we're going to help them develop the workforce that they need using the clientele that we have before us. I'm not going to really go into this slide because it really talks about the different programs that we have, but I'll give a brief overview. So with our young people, we start with our young people as young as age 10. Typically, those students are going to be involved in mentoring, continuing education if they need some type of educational support. So that 10 to 18, those students are still in school. and we're providing them with those additional educational supports or mentoring supports that they need. Our disconnected population, that 16 to 24-year-old group who have dropped out of school or on the verge of dropping out of school or having difficulties in school, is a different population. We have two programs, Youth Build and what is our HYPE program, and all of that is about mentoring, it's about workforce development, it's about getting them prepared to go into the workforce. And that's accomplished through, of course, training and then also employment placement. So ideally, when we work with our young people, our programs are built to better connect them with mentors, with training. We don't do any training that does not lead to an industry or a nationally recognized credential. And so we talked about the students at TrueCore. I think in the last month, about 30, 40 students have gotten certifications? About 60, I'm sorry, I'm off. So about 60 students in the last month have gotten certifications in manufacturing through that program. Ideally for us, we're going to, some of the students I understand can leave premises and some cannot, but for us it's about getting them also not just the certification, but them being able to go into an OJT training with our partner employers who are willing to bring those students on and let them work in a capacity, which for me works because I don't believe that students should just be sitting or youth should just be sitting in the facilities. If I can get them a work opportunity and get them some training and a work opportunity and some experience, then I think they're going to have a better outcome, and we're not going to see them on our adult side in the criminal justice system. So services provided. So we provide case management with ongoing and consistent personalized guidance and support. Our team typically is going to come up with a plan for the young person so that we can put them on a track, and we are checking the box as to, and I hate to say it like that, but checking the box as to they are actually meeting goals and they are making progress. We do professional development training, which we incorporate positive youth development into that service. There's stabilization and support service, education and training service, financial coaching and income services, adult and family development service, of course, mentor and advocacy services. We also identify and provide additional transportation if the students need. We will actually pick them up and take them to work because we want them to be there. Job coaching, on-the-job training, the employer engagement is a huge piece of what we do, as well as follow-up. So it's not like we're going to get the student a job, place them on a job, and then we're done. We typically are going to follow up with the employer because we want to hear that we are giving them the right people to fit their needs. We also want to hear how the student is performing. We have students who sometimes we say they're not really ready to go to work, but we will place them in a volunteer capacity with a nonprofit agency so that they can learn the soft skills, they can learn the things that they need that's going to help them progress to really needing or really getting to a regular employed job. So the services, we try to do as many services for our students as we can because we want to ensure that they're going to have successful outcomes and that they're going to be a viable member of the community. So extremely important that we wrap our arms around them and partner with the agencies. Again, I go back to some of the DJJ residential facilities that we have been in. We actually go on site and provide the training there so that the student can have the certification. For those students who go away from Hillsborough County and are going back to a different community, in some cases we may have a program in that community. We have Polk County as one of the communities that we service, as well as Pasco County, but we have partner agencies around the state, in Miami, in Gainesville, that we also will prep and say, hey, this is the student coming back to your community. And in some cases, for instance, we have a partnership with Publix, who is all about the young people, who we can say, this person is coming back to your community. This is the person you need to contact because they're going to give them a job. And so we have young people who are making as high as $30 an hour on their jobs after they receive the training, after they go into the employment. Let's see. This just gives a little bit. So I mentioned our Youth Build program, which really focuses on those trainings. That particular program is funded by the Department of Labor and provides construction, again, manufacturing, and also IT. Those students who complete that program, which is considered a pre-apprenticeship program, can go directly into an apprenticeship program, which is going to continue their training and also employment as well. And this is about our program of helping youth prepare for employment. Again, all about employment, workforce development, and they receive very similar services. Most of these students are going to be involved in the criminal justice system. We have reentry programs for adults. I'm not going to go into that. Let's see. And so for results, I'm always very pleased with our results. Our recidivism rate remains typically under 10% when we talk about both our youth and adult programs. Because again, we spend a lot of times, each person that completes our program, in some cases, they're gonna get 9 months of follow-up. In other cases, they're gonna get 12 months of follow-up. Typically, across the board, our programs are going to start for the participant prior to them being released. Whether they're in a residential facility, whether they are in prison, it's going to start prior to them getting released. We like to start them 3 to 6 months. We did a group at the West, help me, Detention West. Those students are there for a short period of time, but they were, 13 of them were able to get certifications. A couple came up because they wanted to go deeper into the certifications. So I'll talk a little bit about that. In our manufacturing certifications, students can get CLA, CLT, CPT, and a CNC. So each level of those certifications give them the opportunity to make more money. It gives them, of course, additional education and training. The basic, the CLA, CLT, Certified Logistics Associate, they're usually helping me, and Certified Logistic Technician are going to start. Those are entry-level warehouse jobs. Most of our employers will start them off at a minimum of $16 an hour. We have a few who try to slide us into the $14, $15 range, which rarely do we accept. But they're depending on how hands-on they want to be with our student, but most of our students will start at about $16 an hour. As they move up, if they go on to the CPT, that will give them a little, they're in that about $20 an hour range. The CNC can get them anywhere from $35 to $75 an hour because it is a very highly demand field. Along our construction tracks, they're going to start off with the base, which is a NCCER. Our employers will bring them in as a person who's aiding on the field, but they can go into a trade if they choose to do so. Electrician, we do plumbing, carpentry, so they can go into additional fields. And typically with those employers, they are going to match them up with a person who's going to work on site with them as they are training, which is very important because we like to see a lot of hands-on activity with our students. On our IT fields, they can do a networking and cabling stint. They can do, which of course would allow them to wire this entire room. They can also go into the Microsoft. They can get any of those type of certifications as well. They can get cybersecurity certifications. It depends on how high they want to go, but we also look at backgrounds because it's very important, particularly on the IT field, that we look at their backgrounds because sometimes they can't get certain jobs. And so we pay particular attention to that because we don't want them to be disappointed. So over the last 3 years or so, we've served over 720 returning citizens on the adult side. On the youth side, we've served over 300. Again, we keep our recidivism rate less than 10%. Again, a little bit about partners and collaborations and our employers, and that is it. Do I have any questions? Yes, sir.
Just a couple quick comments, Ms. Lamb. It's been a few years since I've been out to your organization, and you've really expanded your scope of services to several target populations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Couple questions. You skipped over the adult reentry programming that you do, and I know this is Juvenile Justice Board, but I kind of wear another hat in another meeting and another work responsibility. How is that funded, your adult reentry program?
We have 3 grants from the Department of Labor. So a little over $10 million in funds for that. And then we also we partner, of course, with the Department of Corrections. So some funds there as well.
And what institutions are you currently working with?
We go into Polk CI. We go into the Largo Prison. We have Hardy, Highlands, Zephyr Hills. We can pretty much stretch to any facility across Central Florida. That is our agreement. We also go to Lowell as well.
And where are you primarily getting your referrals?
So the Department of Corrections actually sends us a list of potential participants, and so we're able to go in, meet with those folks who are there, and it's voluntary. They can sign up or they don't. Typically, they will. Mm-hmm.
And do you work with the Hillsborough Ex-Offender Reentry Alliance and HERN?
Right, so we are a member of HERN as well.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. $10 million, a lot of resources for this community.
It's a big plus. We turn out a lot of CDL drivers. So.
We need them. Thank you.
Other questions for Ms. Lamb? I have a question. What is the referral process for any one of us here?
Oh, did I? Oh, there I am. I brought business cards, all of that, so you guys can contact. There are members of my team here, Mr. Andrew here, who's recording me, and Mr. Reed, who really is very hands-on with our youth and is actually the person going into the residential facilities. Mr. Rogers is here, who oversees our mentoring programs. And Mr. Young is here, who kind of goes between both youth and adult. So again, I brought plenty of business cards, so I'm happy to pass those out, and so you can reach out to us and refer young people as well.
Any other questions? Ms. Lamb, thank you very much for being here and informing us about your organization.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any public comment today? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to announcements. So be sure to save the date. Our January 20th, 2023 board meeting here at the County Center, Secretary Eric Hall will be here to address us, and it'll be an opportunity to learn more about his priorities, and he's looking forward to meeting with us. Also want to let you know that today is the last day, and I sent this out with the minutes. I did not print out a copy, but today is the last day to have early bird pricing for the Restoring Hope Training Summit, which is going to be October 25th through October 26th. That's out at the Rosen Hotel in Orlando. On the 24th, we're actually going to have our cab chair meeting then, and Mr. Parkinson and I are going to go to that. And then the 25th and 26th, I know Mr. Parkinson is going to attend the Restoring Hope. But if you want the early bird pricing, it is $190. That is today, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, $190. And then the pricing will go on through October 19th for $220. I think that's correct. But if you're interested, I sent you the link. If you didn't get it, let me know. And other announcements?
Yes,
Captain
sir.
Royka.
Thank you. Not an announcement. It should have asked us earlier. For teen summits, we've done them in the past, and it's being asked again around, I know, our agency, if we're going to, either Hillsborough Safe and Sound or DJJ Prevention is going to host another teen summit in the near future.
Does anyone present have any knowledge of any upcoming teen summits that are being discussed? Hearing none, I'll presume that's the answer at this point.
I believe that's something that we'd like to explore again in our circuit with in the upcoming year.
Okay, let's talk afterwards, and we'll
Yes, sir.
see where we can refer it.
Thank you.
Other announcements? Mr. Parkinson.
I just have one question. So Secretary Hall's coming in January, and we know he wants to impart kind of his strategic vision on where DJJ is going to be moving. But I wonder if we shouldn't coalesce a message for him as well in terms of what our priorities are, our wants, our needs. I think, for instance, evening reporting centers and the value that it brings to our community, should we start preparing some agenda items and possible presentations? As long as we have his attention, it might be apropos.
Sounds like a good idea.
I'll reach out to Freddie Barton and see if he's willing to do an overview of Evening Reporting Center. It's important because obviously as a community we place great trust in the work that the ERC is doing, but also funding of the ERC is a longitudinal issue. And we know that Department of Juvenile Justice funding for the initiative goes away in June of next year. So we really want to emphasize the importance of that model and similar models to the Secretary. And anything else the group can think of.
Thank you. Ms. Grimmick?
I think we'd also like a small amount of time. I'll double check though, but that is something that getting in front of him has been asked of all of network agencies, just to identify what network agencies are specifically in communities, since we're not named the network.
No, that's a good point, and there's some unique programming that you've done here in Hillsborough that historically has been done in other communities like DV Respite. So it would be great if we could show the value of that program and similar programs.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Our annual leadership luncheon for our character GPS prevention program will be this year on Wednesday, November 30th. Frequency Oaks will send an announcement. And we're going to be at Restoring Hope Children's Home this Saturday, helping to equip some of these foster kids overcoming the trauma that they've been going through. So.
Thank you so much. Any other announcements? Okay, then at this time, at 10:54 a.m., we will adjourn the meeting.